peace and love, and welcome back to the Palace of Persephone. I'm gonna go ahead and burn some sage because I lost my Palo Santo and I'm gonna have to go get some more. But until such time, we will burn some white sage. I typically don't, but I almost thought it was kind of interesting that I'd be burning white sage as we talk about this new moon in Sagittarius, because I feel that a lot of powerful changes, even the changes that just occurred with this last full moon in Taurus, I feel even larger changes with this new moon in Sagittarius, which is also an eclipse. So before I get too deep into my details, which I already feel myself doing, I'm going to do my little intro. Still trying to practice it all the way, but peace and love. With the guidance of my spirit guides, my Pleiadian emissaries of light, the Marian ancestors, ascended masters, goddess Isis, I have been called to provide a space for all beings of light, empaths, healers, to receive messages, downloads, and healing. And through sharing what I feel called to here, it's my intention that the messages that need to reach who they need to reach will receive them, rather. And through the new moon and full moon collective spreads, like what I'm doing now, this new moon, it's not necessarily a spread because I don't feel called to cards again. This is just for my picket cards I did earlier. But through the new moon spreads, it's my intention, new moon and full moon spreads, it's my intention to bring an awareness to the astrological time that we are a part of, providing tools on how to best navigate this path for your highest good. Mercury's not even retrograde. This is what I get for trying to memorize the whole thing. I think I basically said it how I said it. Providing guidance on how best to navigate the path so that you may work with the planets for your highest good. And then through my new moon and full moon distance Reiki healing sessions, it's my intention to provide planetarily based healing for all who feel called to receive. And through working with the healing modality of Reiki, I am stepping into life path mission and honoring the Pleiadians and guiding me towards the healing path that I have been called to this lifetime. So I'm very excited for that. So if you're interested in joining one of those Reiki sessions, I will be doing one for this new moon in Sagittarius. Feel free to check out the links in my description box. You can send me a message on Instagram. You can join through my link tree. You can become a patron. Just get it every new and full moon for a better price. But at any rate, yes, thank you. Forever grateful for all who come to hang out with me and talk some astrological stuff because it's my favorite subject. So thank you for listening to that. I'm forever grateful. We're going to go ahead and talk about this new moon. So this is a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the archer. It is the half man, half horse. It's the person who pulls the bow, aims it at a goal, and just releases. And even if it doesn't hit where it desires to hit, it will still go to where that bow fell, and then maybe it sees a new goal. It's like, oh, I'm going to go get that. And through the journey of shooting that bow and going towards it, as they're walking to go get it, they're learning so many things. They might stop and see this beautiful tree. They might meet someone on the way to go find that bow. Through having those large aspirational goals, the journey to even getting to that goal, you're collecting so much wisdom along the way, and that's such a Sagittarius vibration. It is a fire sign. It's going to be quite a fiery time. We're also going to have Mercury, I think tomorrow actually is, well, the day I'm filming, tomorrow Mercury will be moving into Sagittarius. It's some extra fire for the season. And it's also going to be a solar eclipse, even more fire. So I keep feeling that it will be a fiery time, but also very transformational, also very large shifts occurring, just as what I felt in the last video I did for the full moon in Taurus. I was just like, I can just tell some things are getting shaken up. I can just tell things are getting moved around, and that's what eclipses do. This being an eclipse already tells me that this is a time, wherever you're at, that you're going to be having certain areas of your life, especially wherever you have these signs, wherever you have these planets in your personal houses, where you're already going to be naturally noticing. If you just take a minute and sit, you're like, oh, you know what? There is a lot of crazy stuff going on in that realm of my life. That's essentially what's going to be occurring with this one. So I have a little paper here to read the details for you. So this new moon in Sagittarius is a solar eclipse. It's happening. I'll be releasing this. It's not this Thursday that's coming up, but it'll be the next Thursday if you watch this in real time. It's going to be on Saturn Day, December the 4th. And it's going to be at 2:42 a.m. in the morning per Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be in the degree of 12 degrees and 22 minutes or seconds. I can never remember. So it's going to be in 12 degrees Sagittarius. That's going to be for the sun and the moon, because when you have a new moon, it means it's in the same sign as the sun. So they're just hanging out together, so you can't, there's no illumination on it. So you'll know it's a new moon. New moon is in the same sign because it's not illuminated. And then when it's the opposite sign, like the full moon in Taurus was opposite the sun in Scorpio, that's how it's illuminated. So wherever you have 12 degrees Sagittarius, please check in your houses for where that is. Wherever you have 12 degrees Sagittarius, new moons are always about planting new seeds. And I don't always recommend that during eclipses, because eclipses are going to change what they need to change anyway. But maybe just bringing more of a conscious awareness to what is occurring in that house for you already. So you may notice wherever you have Sagittarius 12 degrees, there's already some shifts, there's already some changes, there's already new revelations, there's already new thought forms that you're creating about that realm of your life, whether it's first, seventh house, whatever house it's in. I keep feeling like I need to make a video about the houses, so like you can be like, if you don't understand, you can watch this video right here. So I might look into doing that, because I have gotten a better knowledge of all the houses in my own experience now, that I feel I'd be confident enough to parlay it in a clear way. But anyhow, so I have a couple aspects going on with this new moon in Sagittarius that I felt called to write down, and I am still, I have the book with me actually, I'm still very much in my journey. It's probably going to be backwards because the camera's front facing, but I digress. Planets in Aspect by Robert Pelletier, probably French. But I've been reading about aspects and trying to get a better understanding and knowledge on what exactly they will be doing on a collective scale versus just in your personal natal chart. So I wrote down 4 aspects, and we can kind of talk about them a little bit, just to talk about what to expect during this new moon in Sagittarius. And really, with these eclipse ones, I never really feel like I can give like a, this is what's going to happen, because honestly, wherever eclipses hang out in the realm of wherever you have Sagittarius, wherever you had Taurus, like those places are just going to be changed for your highest good, despite any actions you may be taking. You can work with spirit on them, but either way, things are going to be shifting for your highest good. So the first aspect that I have for this new moon in Sagittarius is the moon conjunct Mercury. And when it's conjunct, it essentially means that they're in the same sign as each other. So the moon is in Sagittarius, and Mercury will have moved into Sagittarius, so it'll be in Sagittarius as well. So if you already don't really know a lot about aspects, the conjunct one's kind of easy to figure out, because it literally means like they'll probably be working well together. They're basically like, you know, holding hands with each other because they're the same sign. They already get along. They're like, oh, you're a Sagittarius, I'm a Sagittarius too, cool. The only difference I see here is that moon is the emotional aspect of ourselves, the things that we deeply feel internally, and Mercury is our expression. It's more of our like intellectual thought processes. So this moon is actually quite helpful, or Mercury is working with this moon rather, to help us as these changes are occurring in whatever realm you have Sagittarius, to help you take not only the emotional aspect that's occurring, but also the mental mercurial aspect, and speak on what's happening. And be like, oh, these changes are occurring in this house, and it's happening because of this, and this is leading to that, and blah, blah, blah. And like, I never realized this, I never sat and thought about this. I feel like Mercury conjunct the moon here is going to help us to be able to kind of like speak out on what's occurring, and be able to talk. I recommend talking out loud about anything that's happening in your life, because it helps you to process what is just like a dissociative thought form, and what's actually grounded in like your intuition. Be like, oh yeah, that totally resonates, or oh, when I say that out loud, it kind of sounds like it doesn't make sense. Sometimes that is the case. I also have the moon sextile Saturn here, and sextiles are also kind of good. Essentially, it's not like a very strong aspect, but it's kind of like, instead of like 2 people who are holding hands or like best buds, a sextile is like acquaintances. Like, yeah, we're cool with each other, we don't have any beef, you know, we're fine. So the moon in Sagittarius sextile Saturn, which is currently in Aquarius. Sagittarius and Aquarius, pretty much, they get along well. They're not like, oh my gosh, we're the exact same. They have their differences, and they respect each other's differences, and they kind of do like, you know, okay, I respect your vibe and you respect mine. I'm getting that from that placement as well, which is good, because Saturn, wherever you're having Saturn, Obviously, Saturn is the place in our charts where we're experiencing more restriction, we're experiencing more discipline, we're experiencing the hard lessons that we most likely want to avoid or don't feel like doing, or, you know, really make us like sit with things we need to work on. So, the moon being sextile this placement, the new moon in Sagittarius, wherever you are having Sagittarius in your houses, Saturn is kind of like encouraging that because of what it can bring to nourish you even deeper. So, I always like try to use myself for an example, but I don't always know if that's helpful. But essentially, like, I have the new moon Sagittarius in my 12th, not my 12th house. It's in 12 degrees in my 11th house. So it's hanging out in my house of connections you make through work. It's dreams. It's collective consciousness. It's like planting new seeds and seeing new changes in that realm of my life. Saturn, which is currently in my first house, is like, yes, by, you know, I'm working along with it. I'm encouraging that because through creating these new forms, like, I'm also, Saturn's like kind of changing and helping me learn how to sit in my truth and stand in my truth and just be who I am. In doing that, I'm also allowing the space to create better, more authentic connections in my 11th house of friendships, like the friendships you make from work and collective and stuff like that. So you'll see wherever Saturn is, whatever Saturn's doing is also like encouraging whatever change is happening with this moon, because it's going to just lead to better things. The two aspects that we have that I find quite interesting, and I have the book out so I can read about it so we can learn together, is the moon in Sagittarius is in conjunct Uranus. And I had never really like looked, and most of these aspects are like, I chose the ones that weren't more than 3 degrees away from it, because technically it's not an aspect unless it's like right on that degree, but I usually give 3 degrees to the left or right just from what I've seen other people do. So the moon in conjunct Uranus is the next aspect, and we already know, well, I don't want to say we already know, but Uranus is in the sign of Taurus, and it was just strongly aspected in our last full moon in Taurus. So wherever and anywhere you have Uranus and Taurus right now, I guarantee you've been experiencing major shifts and changes, and like sometimes even like violent shakeups and really hard, rough shifting of things, and having to really breathe through that, because Uranus is a kind of a slow moving planet, so it's kind of transiting wherever it is for you, but for your highest purpose. It's Uranus is the great awakener and the divine discontent energy. But Uranus in conjunct the moon in Sagittarius here, I don't necessarily see like the moon in Uranus maybe as having such difficulty with each other, but more so the moon in Sagittarius and then Uranus in Taurus, and kind of like they don't necessarily like, you know, Taurus wants to sit and stay grounded and rooted and be comfortable, and Sagittarius wants to travel and explore and fly and be free all the time. So they don't necessarily like vibe with each other that much. So I kind of understand in conjunction just by understanding the energy of Sagittarius and Taurus. But the book, when I find it, I think it's the very last aspect. No, it's the second to last. The book says about inconjuncts. The inconjunct aspect is formed when two planets are separated by an angle of 150 degrees. It links planetary influences between signs that have no sympathy for each other by element or quality, and are therefore functioning under great strain. So they have no sympathy with each other by element. One is fire, one is earth, so they aren't as sympathetic, or quality. Sagittarius is masculine and Taurus is feminine, so they're like completely opposite. Therefore functioning under great strain. And then it just talks about the extra aspects and dynamics based on signs. But essentially, I just wanted to read that main thing, because even reading that they are therefore functioning under great strain told me what I needed to know about understanding that they just don't vibe well. And so this may be where you're experiencing some tension in your own personal chart. So wherever you have the moon in Sagittarius, wherever that is for you, 12 degrees, you can also be experiencing an equal kind of opposite strain because of the changes occurring where your new moon is in where you have Uranus. So because of the changes that are occurring over here, there may be some tension and strain wherever Uranus is for you, and noticing like there's a disconnect, there's a imbalance in these two. And it's not to say that it's going to stay in balance, because all things change and shift, but more so to bring an awareness that every action has an equal opposite reaction, I suppose. And so wherever new moon Sagittarius is illuminate, is because it's interesting, because, you know, new moons are the darkest time and period, but it's a solar eclipse, so it's almost like not recommending to plant seeds, but understanding you're in the darker phase to have some illumination come in from a solar eclipse. And Sagittarius really bringing that. It also is about higher knowledge. It's about higher learning. It's about a deeper understanding of things, and having really taken the time to, I don't want to say philosophize, but to really take your own time to reflect on things. And so there's going to be I feel like a great expansion and understanding, especially wherever you do have Sagittarius as well. And then maybe through that experience, wherever you have Uranus and Taurus is like fighting that. And I don't like, I'm still not going to try and use myself as an example, but essentially wherever you're going to be experiencing some like unrest and some struggle, there's also going to be equal opposite reaction of like some new illuminations and some new revelations as well, and some new changes that need to come through. And so again, like I recommended with the full moon in Taurus, I was like, just try and stay grounded, just try and breathe, don't take things personally, know that this great change is occurring for all of us, so that we can all be where we need to be on our perfect highest evolved timelines, in our highest vibrational energy, in our divine sovereignty. The final aspect I have is a square, and I still wanted to read about the square because I just like how it explained it. And the moon in Sagittarius is going to be square Neptune and Pisces. Now, I will say that I do notice that at this point in time, Neptune, which has been in retrograde, I don't know how long it's been retrograde. It's been retrograde for a couple months now. It will finally be going direct, and let me tell you, Neptune going direct, even though you probably won't feel it immediately, in the next coming months, you'll kind of like, Neptune is very illusory and hard to grasp and see, and very sneaky, and brings about illusions and confusions. And so Neptune being direct, at least at this time, while it's in a solar eclipse, is, I feel, going to bring a lot of clarity and illumination. Wherever you have Neptune in your chart, you're going to be like, you're going to have like a lot more. It's still going to be kind of illusory, but you're going to feel at least a little bit more aware of the illusions, and not feel like you're in the illusion, but you see the illusion. Anyhow, the moon Sagittarius square Neptune and Pisces, and the sign of Pisces is where Neptune is. It says, next to the conjunction, the square is the most powerful aspect between planets. Next to the conjunction, the square is the most powerful aspect between planets. Its dynamic influence exceeds that of all other aspects, and it surpasses even the conjunction in stimulating human reaction. Stimulating human reaction. It is the aspect that denotes action and reaction at the most refined level. The planets involved are almost always in signs that are naturally hostile to each other. The planets involved, so the moon and Neptune, I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think this might be more based on their signs. Because of this fact, there is little harmony unless the individual reacts in a harmonious way to their combined influences. Positive human reaction is essential if there is to be any constructive effect. So, like, literally, this is kind of something I already speak on anyway, but I kind of got some confirmations learning more about the Oracle at Delphi. But it's very important to know thyself. It's very important to really sit with your awareness of what you're experiencing and why you're experiencing it, and recognizing that the lessons it's providing for you. Otherwise, you'll feel like everything is happening to you and not for you. And so with this moon and Sagittarius square Neptune and Pisces, causing that, it literally said it causes a stimulating human reaction. It's a way to really make you wake up, to blink, to like nudge you, to create full pattern interruption, and positive human reaction is essential if there's to be any constructive effect here. And so this tells me, wherever you have Sagittarius, wherever this moon is, wherever you're experiencing a new type of thought process, a new type of feeling, in whatever realm Sagittarius is for you, and creating a higher vision and a higher desire and change in wherever that is for you in Sagittarius. Neptune is currently in Pisces. Not going to be in retrograde though, but it's causing a square. So wherever you're having this Sagittarian experience, Pisces is kind of equal opposite reactioning, just kind of like the in conjunct almost, Neptune and Pisces. And wherever you have Neptune and Pisces, you've probably been experiencing some illusions. You've been experiencing learning like, wow, maybe I'm a little fantastical in this area of my life. Maybe I do really like need to become more grounded in this area. Maybe I really do need to spend more time fleshing out this aspect of my life so that I can work with it and not like let it sneakily do things for me. Having the square here tells me that like the changes that are being created in where you have Sagittarius is going to create an equal opposite reaction where you have Neptune and Pisces. And even having awareness of that makes it a lot less like daunting and overwhelming to experience, because you're like, ah, this makes sense because I have this here, this is going here. This is happening for my highest good, and everything is always happening for our highest good. To me, overall, and kind of what I really wanted spirit to come through, my spirit guides and my ancestors and everyone that I call to during this new moon in Sagittarius spread, to kind of come in and just speak on the fact that new moons are always great times to plant seeds, and full moons always bring illuminations, and we have an opportunity every new and full moon to really sit with the planets and notice what's going on and notice what's occurring. And with this new moon in Sagittarius, the solar eclipse, the changes are going to occur anyway. The shifts are going to happen anyway. And they are moving things out of the way that no longer serve you, that you maybe haven't sat with the time to recognize if they do or don't serve you. And Uranus has already been shaking things up and moving things out. And now this new moon Sagittarius solar eclipse is going to illuminate some things. Even asking you, Justin, being like, do you see this? It's completely dark. It's a new moon. There's no moon out here, but I'm shining a light on something for you that's been hidden in the dark. Do you see this? Consciously make an effort to clear it out. Consciously make an effort to heal it. Consciously make an effort to do what is necessary in whatever experience you're going to have with this new moon, to recognize all the little jewels we're getting, all the little like level ups that we're receiving right now, so that we can continue to release all that does not serve us, so we can continue to stand in the highest energy in our containers. It's going to be a very powerful eclipse again, and these echo out. Eclipses echo out over a course of months, and so the shifts don't all happen in one day. For some people it may, depending on your own personal chart, but essentially it'll echo out. And most likely by the time we get to February, you're going to be like, what? By the time we get to like March, April, you're like, oh, wow. And honestly, 2022 feels like it's holding a lot for all of us. And that's why so much stuff is happening now to prepare us for that time. And I am kind of feeling called to get at least one advice card for us for this new moon, and Goddess Isis is kind of asking to come out. But yeah, I usually, like I said, I usually would do spreads and do ones for the elements, but I hadn't been called to that recently. So I've kind of just been talking, and I think it's probably better that way, because this is actually kind of encouraging me to learn about the aspects so that I can better explain them, so that I can be a little bit more informational when I make these videos, so I'm not mad at it. But let me get some advice from Goddess Isis really quick. Oh, thank you, Goddess. She already popped a card out. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, the moon's right behind her. See. Ooh, what is that reflection? Oh, it's the camera. That's funny. Look at that. Into the Matrix. I'm just kidding. Let me see if I can hide my face. There we go. Goddess Isis. And let me read the back of the card while she's hanging out up here, and you can kind of just peer into the card. It's called the Lunar Queen. I love that. There is a deep feminine wisdom that recognizes the importance of cycles of rest and replenishment as essential to balance our actions of power and demonstration. You are asked to allow this replenishment, which means we're in a cycle of rest and replenishment. You are asked to allow this replenishment for yourself now, trusting that you are in a cycle of creation that is about to shift into a new phase. Release and enjoy the process without having to control or force it. Release and enjoy the process without having to control or force it. Release and enjoy the process. Release and control. Release and enjoy the process without having to force or control it. I resonate with that as well. One of my personal mantras is remember to surrender. Remember to surrender. Remember to surrender. I'm a Capricorn rising, so I'm always like, I got a plan. I'm going to do this. And then like all my little personal transits are like, nope, you're not doing that. So I've been learning very strongly to surrender to the higher plan, divine will, and have trust and faith that it is not a race. It is a journey. This new moon, Sagittarius, solar eclipse, is asking us to trust the changes that are occurring, to know that there are cycles and seasons for all things in our life. And as much as we want to see some changes come about now and some things to be over now and want certain cycles and phases just to shift and be when we want them to be, Spirit has a greater plan for us and greater preparation for us for the things that we're stepping into, the things that we've chosen to come down here to do. We have signed up to do before we entered into this lifetime, the roles in which we chose to play to awaken and activate others around us and to ascend into a higher state of being on this plane of existence. So I trust that you will flow through the changes during this new moon in Sagittarius solar eclipse next Saturn day, December 4th at 2:42 a.m. in the morning. If you feel like being awake at that time, I don't know. I'm kind of nocturnal, so I might be. And I will be doing a new moon distance Reiki healing session for this moon. So if you're interested in joining, you can, like I said in the beginning of this video, reach out to me to join. I also do have patrons now. I'm so excited. I got my first patron, so I'm very grateful. Thank you if you're watching. Who will now be working with me in the Patreon to do new moon and full moon Reiki every month. So very excited for this phase, in this space and place that we are in. It is happening for us, not to us. It's for our highest good. Have trust and faith, please, as these changes continue to occur. I hope all of you will enjoy your Thanksgiving season, and then entering into Yule time and recognizing and honoring the cycles and seasons that we are in. Or if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, I guess it's different. But anyhow, thank you for watching. Truly, truly wishing you the most groundedness and conscious breathing that is possible as things shift and change. And I will see you on the other side of all of that, even stronger and wiser and more aware of what's happening to you and not for you. Happening for you and not to you. Lord help me. Okay. Well, I think that's all I want to say. I think that's all my guides called me to say. I don't want to make the video long to make it long because I'm trying to work hard on keeping them short. So thanks so much for watching. If you liked it, give it a like. If you didn't, it's okay. Leave a comment if you feel called to. Please subscribe and join the tribe. I appreciate all of the support. My goal is to get to 1K eventually. What can I say? One day. Okay. I'm hungry. I'm ready. I'm just like all over. It's a lot of energy today for me. But anyhow, thanks so much. I will see you on my full moon video or pick a card. I just posted one more recently now. If you'd like to check those out, you can check them out on the channel. And I will see you next time. Happy new moon. You can do it. Peace and love.